that because we are God's image and likeness, we bring forth. We bring forth. I had a doctor tell me, it reminded me when Ryan was born this week, that he said, you know, I have been an obstetrician for many, many years. He said, the woman comes to me, I look at the child develops, I reach in and I help the child come forth. I haven't got the foggiest idea how this is done. What causes this child to develop, to be conceived and then come into a child with its own intelligence, because it is an individualized, you see, idea of God. Man has ideas and brings forth. Remember the godlike that we said back up here? God creates man godlike. See, now that's a slam in the face to orthodoxy, because orthodoxy is saying, well, man is lost and undone, is never God's image and likeness, and so you just, why that's a horrible thing. And in the early church, so-called, people were killed for saying such things like that. So then we have the idea of mind. Remember that only ideas based upon divine ideas are really eternal. We have fleeting ideas, you know, they last for a little while and then they disappear. Or we have an idea and we think it over, it won't work for us. But we're thinkers. Any idea that's not based upon goodness, love, joy, peace, really has no real thinking process. It really has nothing that's permanent. Then we have a really strange word. Can I adjust my chair? My tush is falling off it. Thank you. The word is soul. Soul. With a capital S. The original soul with capital S is God, the original being reflected and expressed by man. Soul, something that is solid, something that is us, the only I or us. That which is brought is invisible, it's in us. Every one of you know there's something more to you than what's sitting on that chair this morning, right? Mm-hmm. You know that. You wake up with it every morning. There's something there, but you don't quite understand it. We say that we say of someone that they're a soul man. That's an interesting word that came about in the 50s. Or shall we say he expresses or she expresses a lot of soul. What do we mean by that? Thinkers, what do we mean by that? If someone is a soul person. What's soul food? What is that?
Some of all they are.
Some of all they are is something that's just basic. Very basic in the individual, very base, very principle of themselves. So we say that they're a soul man, but really what we're talking about is not the outward form that just bouncing around to music or cooks good food, but it's really something inside them that makes them do that. You see, they're reflecting soul. They're good at what they do. I watch the Food Channel. The only thing I don't like about the Food Channel is that I have to go get something to eat as soon as I watch it. You know. And if I ever cooked like they cook, I would weigh 5,000 pounds. You'd have to carry me in here. But anyhow, there's people there that like to cook. They like to cook. They do this. I'm amazed at them. You know, if it isn't frozen, I don't eat it. But they, you know, they mix all these various things together that I never even heard of before. And I've seen them in the store, but I had no idea how to cook them. And so but it's just inside them. They're just a soul person. It's something that's uplifting, and it's empowering to the human race. And it comes from God. God is let's say, we'll call God the very mold by which everything comes out. Everything comes out of this mold. God brings forth. It wouldn't hurt us to pray once in a while, God, bring forth in me that which is best and whole for me. See, we tell God what's good for us most of the time. Say, you know, God, you know what I need? Well, this is what I'll tell you now. It's like I tell you, every time I get up in the morning, I tell God how the day's going to go. But that's not the way it is. God brings forth in us that which is good and whole, but we have to, of course, accept it. There's another word, we use it all the time. It's spirit. Spirit. Now, we say there are spirits. We say that the man has a lot of spirit. What do we mean by that? He just has a lot of enthusiasm. There's a lot of things that mean of spirit, but with a capital S, it's the very basis or substance of everything that's real. Really, substance. Now, until the 20th century came around, we didn't really understand exactly what we were seeing, but they discovered that everything is in a state of movement, everything is molecules, everything is atoms, and they smash atoms, they go, and on we go. Something is more real than the solid form that we are expressing. I go to acting school, say, and I don't get, I go to a Shakespearean school, and I'm going to get up and and I say, y'all know that I wouldn't talk like that. You see, I'm not expressing what the thing is. So we need to pray while we are talking with God, that the very spirit, the very substance of all things, the very goodness of God be expressed in our lives. Well, how do you find God, for God's sakes? How do we worship and learn about God? Is that what we're doing? It's who you are and the way you live that counts before God. Now, this is what the new message says. It's who you are and the way you live that counts before God. Your worship must engage your spirit in the pursuit of truth. Can you ever imagine a translation of the King James Version ever says a thing like that? Let me say it again. It's who you are and the way you live that counts before God. Your worship must engage your spirit in the pursuit of truth. So it's not just getting on your knees and pleading and begging, but it's connecting with God. And then it goes on to say, that is the kind of people God is out looking for. Those who are simply and honestly themselves. God is sheer being. Self, spirit. Now, it also goes on to say, those who worship Him must do it out of their very being, their insides, their spirits, their true selves in adoration. A lot of worship. We talked that this morning in the Sunday school class about all the automatic stuff, book of prayer. My brother left the Episcopal Church because they changed the book of prayer, common book of prayer. I could never understand why. I don't know what the deal was. They were all arguing and fighting and opening up new churches. And then Roman Catholicism changed to English, and a lot of people left because it took the mystery out. But in reality, what it's all about is if we're going to worship, we must do it out of our very inner inside being. That's where it is. Now, in the next week, I'll follow these, and as soon as Easter and holidays are over, and I think David speaks one time, then I'm going to start again, and we're going to talk about some of this. In the next few weeks, I'll follow these synonymous terms of life, truth, and love. They also refer to God.